The Newcastle Revolution is well underway, and while no one would have expected them to be this good this quickly, this season has proven that a clear philosophy and a well thought out transfer window can instantly change the identity of any team. The new ownership is certainly one of the most important factors to consider, but if we've learned anything this season is that just spending a lot of money is definitely not the answer, and a clear tactical system is also a requirement, and Eddie Howe has managed to get the best out of his players. So how did they do it? Generally speaking, the current best sides in the world tend to deploy an aggressive high press and high defensive line to dominate possession, while other teams sit back and look to create opportunities on the counter. This season, Newcastle sit perfectly in the middle between these two approaches, and Eddie Howe has built a modern system built on intensity and speed that perfectly suits his players. Let's take a look. The first two elements of this hybrid system are the high press and counterattacks. One word that summarizes this Newcastle team is intensity, and the whole team works extremely hard to regain possession. From opposition goal kicks, the striker will isolate one of the centre backs, and depending on the opposition, the wingers will either force play centrally or out wide into the fullback, aggressively closing them down and forcing a mistake. The first example can be seen against Brighton, a team celebrated for their build-up play under De Zerbi. In this case, given how dangerous Brighton's central box can be, Newcastle would force play away from the centre and into the fullback, where they were able to stop them from gaining ground. While in this clip we can see what happens when Brighton tried to play the ball centrally, with the hard-hitting and aggressive midfield meaning these central passes would often be intercepted, and the wingers and striker were instantly in an incredibly dangerous position to attack forward and create goals from counters. This willingness to win the ball back early is visible in the statistics, with Newcastle ranking high in the Premier League for passes per defensive action and build-up disruption percentage. If you want more information on all the stats from this video, then make sure to check out the brand new X-Value platform, with advanced metrics from over 17 different leagues across the globe. The link is in the description down below. The system is designed to play mostly in the central third, with a high defensive line, a compact midfield, and the attacking set of players having very clear pressing triggers, and rushing the defenders and forcing mistakes, moving from player to player and giving them very little time to make a choice. This aggression was clearly evident in their 6-1 thrashing of Spurs. In the first 20 minutes, Newcastle gave the Spurs players no time to breathe, picking up the ball consistently by forcing a rushed pass centrally, such as Murphy's goal to make it 3-0. As the team drops deeper, Newcastle consistently keep one or two players above the line of the ball. The aggressive defence and midfield has been excellent this season, and when they regain possession, the hold-up play of Wilson and the pace of any other offensive player, such as Joelinton, Isaac, Willock or Almiron, mean they're extremely dangerous from counterattacks. In fact, Newcastle rank third in the Premier League for XG from counterattacks at 0.14, with similar values to Liverpool and Man United. However, one element that makes them so much better than Liverpool and Man United is their ability to stop opposition counterattacks. And the aggressive nature of the defenders means Newcastle are the second best for counters conceded in the league. Liverpool, on the other hand, are last. Counterattacks are just one of the core elements of Newcastle's style of play. But it's when looking at their build-up that we can notice a completely different approach compared to other teams in the top 6. First things first, Newcastle aren't a build-up at all costs team, and 61% of Nick Pope's passes this season have been long balls forward. That's much higher compared to the other goalkeepers in the top 6. This means the majority of Newcastle's play starts in the middle third, where they often regain possession and instantly look to move the ball forward with a through ball into the striker or wingers. However, even when building up, they're also not as possession heavy as teams like Man City and Arsenal, with fewer total passes per 90 and less possession, but where they excel is in moving the ball forward as quickly as possible. 36% of their passes this season have been towards the opposition's goal, higher than any other team in the top 6. The initial build-up structure is a wide back four, with one pivot in the centre. Depending on the amount of pressure from the opposition, they either go immediately long, or in the case of less pressure, they could look for a central option. But the vast majority of the time, the objective is to move it out wide into the wingers. As they gain ground, the shape will shift into a 3-1 build-up pattern, with Trippier pushing up on the right flank. And in order to move the ball into the wingers, they need to create a numerical advantage. On the left, this is done with the box-to-box midfielder pushing up on the fullback, creating a 2v1 out wide. From the back line, the defenders will look for a long switch in play where the winger will often end up in acres of space, given that if the fullback steps out, he leaves space for the pass in behind. This happened countless times in their final match of the season against Chelsea, and is what led to their goal inside the first 10 minutes. As they move up on the right flank, Anderson would push up near Azpilicueta, and once Newcastle were ready to make the switch, Anderson would make a dummy run inside, forcing Azpilicueta to follow, and leaving Maximin in a lot of space on the flank. Similarly, when shifting from left to right, it's Trippier and Almiron that would create this wide overload. From this position, Trippier has the passing range to pick out Almiron attacking on the flank, or for a whipped delivery into the box. This season, Trippier ranked first for expected threat from passes in the Premier League, showing his ability to help the team gain ground with his vertical passing. So while in the initial phases of build-up, Newcastle don't tend to waste time in moving it forward, their structure in the final third is resemblant to that of Man City and Arsenal, with a 3-2-5 structure, looking for runs into the half spaces, support on the edge of the box to rotate possession, and a strong defensive line ready to stop any potential counterattacks. Where they excel in this area of the pitch is in the individual qualities of the players, with Almiron, Isaac, Saint-Maximin or Joelinton all being excellent dribblers and constantly running at the back line and taking their man on, before looking for cutbacks or balls across the 6-yard box. In fact, Newcastle completes 17.6 dribbles per match, the 5th highest in the league, and more than any other team in the top 6. So as we can see, Newcastle waste no time in moving the ball forward, but that doesn't mean they don't waste time when needed. The third and final component of Newcastle's hybrid system are set pieces, and this season Newcastle created the most opportunities from corners and free kicks compared to any other team in the league. But if you've ever watched Newcastle this season, you may have noticed how long it takes them to take a free kick or corner, making sure all the players are in the correct spot and understanding what play they're going to do before the delivery. But these breaks allow Newcastle to recoup energy needed for their high intensity football, and are the perfect opportunity for the players to rest during the match. The combination of the high press, counterattacks, vertical football and set pieces have put Newcastle well ahead of schedule on their quest to become the next big European club, and a lot of merit has to go to Eddie Howe for getting the best out of every single player. The last time Newcastle qualified for the Champions League was when Santiago Munez hit home an incredible last-minute free kick. Oh wait, no, that's not it. The last time Newcastle qualified for the Champions League was 20 years ago. However, they went out in the qualifying round. But this time round, it looks like they're here to stay. And now let me know what you think. What did you make of Newcastle's season and where do you think they're going to finish next year? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. In this video, we talked a lot about counterattacks. If you want to know more about this style of play, then why not check out this video where we go in depth on the best teams in Europe. As always, if you enjoyed this content, then please leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.